Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the Frontline Changes report for the day of 1118 for the 17th of March. Basically for the past 24 hours. So I decided that I should record this before I sleep. Yeah, that's all. So okay, so happy birthday to you if you're having a birthday today. May you have prosperous and a happy life for this year, only this year, because then you have to wait for the next year's birthday wish from me. So there's some major frontline changes today, very major ones, so stay tuned. So over at the Chasiv, over the Bakhmut front, Ukrainian forces has been geolocated in the place where it was previously geolocated to where the Russians were. So this actually changed the front line a little bit, with Ukrainian forces capturing some grounds back from the Russians. So very small change around here. So this one is at Chasiv, so this is Chasiv, and over at the Bakhmut front. Bakhmut is over here. So the next front line change is at Toretsk, just next door. And you can see this a bit complicated, so I just want to explain. The Ukrainian mapping, Deep State UA has corrected, or rather clarified the front line at the Toretsk front. And so previously we all thought, including them and including me, that the Ukrainian forces attacked from here. So now they have clarified their front line to say that the Ukrainian forces actually attacked from the north. So I originally did not update the map because if we look at only the captured parts, it doesn't really change our maps. But I decided to add this for clarification purposes, so it's not so confusing. So the change would means that these two patch of Ukrainian capture is not capture. These are all gray zones. According to the Ukrainians, these are gray zones. It's not even claim capture. It's just gray zones. So Ukrainian forces actually will have this ground on their mapping to show that this is their perception of where they have at least access. Because ultimately we have to acknowledge that they have Ukrainian forces inside, which were geolocated. I shall give this to them. To be fair, however, the Ukrainian mapping also updated that the Russians have captured this area here, small like two streets around here, and that the Russians continue to have this presence around the industrial area west of Krimske. So there is some frontline change in this area as well. And as for this, one of the hills of the twin hill, Ukrainian forces have claimed that they have retaken some part of it in their mapping. So these are the frontline changes in Toretsk. So there is other gray zones that I did not map in, particularly in this sector. I did not map this in because I don't think it's relevant for now, because Ukrainian forces was not geolocated there. So I cannot just put in gray zones where the Ukrainian claims, because Ukrainian claims a lot of gray zones. So I do not play with gray zones that much. But I think for the Toretsk situation, so many people, like some of you guys have been commenting, what's happening in Toretsk, generally speaking, even Deep State UA themselves say that nothing is happening. So yeah, they just say that there's a huge chunk of gray zones in Toretsk. The buildings are exchanging hands, rotations, people get lost, and yeah, so it's just a mess. So nothing really changes. They say that there's actually no Ukrainian offensive in Toretsk. That's what their Deep State UA claim. So I just want to tell you that, yeah, they claim that the Ukrainians were always there based on the geolocation. So yeah, so it is what it is. So no point measuring all this, but just need to note that this is now inside our considerations. So after the Toretsk front, the next frontline change is not after the Toretsk sector, over the New York sector, over at Alexandropil, Russian forces has been geolocated southwest of Alexandropil, confirming Russians have straightened the front line in this area here, contributing to captures in the northwest of Novobakhmutivka. So this is some frontline change around here. And then we move on from Novobakhmutivka. By the way, this opening here is around 1.2 kilometers. So we move on from Novobakhmutivka in the Toretsk front. We go to Velyka Novosilka sector. As you can hear, my voice is cracking up because I'm still sick. So yeah, I try to finish this up soon. So we yesterday have did frontline changes here. We have new frontline changes in the southeast or southwest of this position. So a geolocation of Russian forces in the south of Privyone, confirming that the Russians have advanced in the south of Privyone, cancelling out this impossible salient in the rear positions, as well as advancing in the northeast of Novosilka. So Privyone is here. So this advance is now confirmed because of the geolocation. At the maximum extent is 3 kilometers. Shortest is probably 1 kilometer. So there's a frontline change in the Velyka Novosilka sector, Privyone. And then the next frontline change, we go to the most important update of the day, which is at Zaporizhzhia front at the KAMYANSKE sector. So this is the KAMYANSKE sector. The Russian forces is now launching a massive offensive in the KAMYANSKE sector. So I have talked about this in the conclusions. So do check it out after this video. I will link it at the end of this video. But the Russian forces basically has been attacking the Stepove, Mali-Shebaki region, including Pyatikaki, Zarevianki, and Lubkove. So all this chain of settlement has been being attacked by the Russian forces, and we have geolocations to confirm that the Russians have entered into Mali-Shebaki. On top of this, Ukrainian mapping have updated their mapping, acknowledging that Russian offensive it stretches from Pyatikaki up to this gully, go back down, and then it go all the way down to this position south of Shebaki. So all these areas here is confirmed Russian captures. These are all confirmed Russian captures. I don't think I can zoom in, right? Yeah, I can zoom in. So these are all confirmed Russian captures. But if you look at pro-Russian mapping, Ryba have mapped it much bigger than this. They have mapped that the Russian forces have reached, maybe I use yellow, have reached the outskirts of Stepove, in fact capturing half of it and stretching all along the highway, leading to basically the entire southern edge of Mali-Shebaki and the south of Shebaki, and then ending in a much bigger zone of control than where the Ukrainian mapping have mapped, which means that Russian forces have captured even more grounds all along these areas here. So the Russian forces basically is now on the verge of capturing Mali-Shebaki, Stepove, and perhaps starting the battle for Shebaki. The Russian Defense Ministry already started announcing the capture of Stepove in the Zaporizhzhia region. So maybe even this mapping is still slower than reality. So anyway, this is the latest update over at the Zaporizhzhia front. The maximum distance traveled is around 3 kilometers. The front line is very big. This front line the straight line is 12 kilometers. So but in the proper front line is probably 14-15 kilometers long. So this is a very big front line. So you can see the advance by the Russian forces means that this is a very big offensive. So, but this thing did not happen overnight. I believe all these changes is developed over 1 week. It's not a one day, suddenly the Russians captured this much ground. I believe this has been advancing over 1 week. So anyway, these are the frontline changes over at the Zaporizhzhia front. And so we're going to do some calculations. And as you can see, the Zaporizhzhia front, this area contributes to 35 square kilometers captured. This is a very big chunk of territory captured. This alone is 35 square kilometers. So this is as big as the collapse in the Kursk front. So this is a very huge collapse. But I believe that there is still a lot more to go. So at this front line, I would say it's not collapse in the way how I usually say. Of course, the Russians capture a lot. It looks like a big collapse of the line that we have right now. But the defense lines, there's still more defense line behind. So the front has not collapsed. The defense line in the first line has collapsed. So the Ukrainians have the biggest change at Toretsk, but of course, that is just correction. And I think it's because it's Velyka Novosilka, as my voice getting more and more sexy. So this is this area here. So this is the second biggest for the Russians. So let's do some calculation, and hopefully my sexy voice arouses you to press the like button. Yeah. And for those that are not subscribed, even if you are subscribed, check the subscription below. Make sure you have subscribed, because it's now proven that YouTube secretly unsubscribe you. So many people have told me in the comments that they have been unsubscribed. So subscribe. Make sure you check. And so let's do some calculation. For the Ukrainians first, 0.06 plus 0.99 equals to a sexy 1.05 square kilometers captured by the Ukrainians. So let's do some calculation for the Russian side. And for the Russians, there's 2.76 plus 6.09 plus 35.07. So the total area captured by the Russian forces is a sexy 43.92 square kilometers. So did I count correctly? Yeah, I did. So yeah, so this is the frontline changes report for the past 24 hours, with the Russian forces having a massive success over in the KAMYANSKE of the Zaporizhzhia front. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update. Have a sexy day.